This is 5 Minute Feng Shui Podcast, episode 167. Feng Shui for personal transformation and self-growth. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui Podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Hello, my Feng Shui friend. Today we are talking about transformation. This is a really important and potent time to begin any new undertaking because it is the beginning of a new year. Even though we are already into mid-February, this is actually only 2 weeks into the Lunar New Year and 6 weeks into the Western calendar New Year. This means that we've got new ground. It's like fertile new ground. Do you ever like to pot plants? I know I love to create pretty pots and garden. And one of the things I just love to do is open up that big fresh bag of potting soil. It just is a bag full, not of dirt, but of promise. And this is what I want you to be thinking about when you think about the new year and what the now means, because the now means the promise of what the year can be. And this is one of the things that I see happens over and over with clients. And I have been booked so solid with clients, and I've had some of the most amazing conversations, and I love it. And what's so wonderful is how often in a Feng Shui consultation, people are very, very open with me and talk to me, as a friend, not just as a consultant, but really let me into their lives. And so I've heard a lot of disappointment about things like where the relationship is going, or the relationship ended, or a new one's beginning, and sometimes what happens is their dissatisfaction with life kind of like comes out. It boils to the surface. It's like sometimes you never think about it until somebody asks. Now, I've also got clients that are wonderful and things are going well for them. But, the thing that really strikes me is how many people really would like a new start when they're talking about Feng Shui and doing a consultation with me. They're looking for a new start. And I want to remind you that this year, this time of year in particular, is always that time. It's like that big bag of potting soil, like full of promise. It's the promise of a glorious planter with flowers and beautiful plants spilling over the side, blooming. You can just see it all when you've opened up that bag of dirt. And I hope that you feel that way when you turn the calendar, because this year holds all this promise for you. And I want to talk about the things, though, right now that could be holding you back from the promise of the year. What could be stopping you? And those things typically are things that we are dealing with, whether it's not feeling fully like an adult or grown up, or like we know what we want to do. I mean, we might be 60, we might be 50, you could be 40 and still feel like you don't have it figured out or don't know where you're headed to in your life. You may also have old traumas, old baggage, things that you have brought from past relationships, or maybe you've got a chronic kind of condition, maybe Epstein-Barr or fibromyalgia, something like that, something that makes you feel stuck and frozen. And this is what we're going to be talking about, and how you can use Feng Shui in addition to your personal efforts. This is I want to impart how important your personal efforts are, and how they are part of if you think of like a 3-sided like stool, it's a little stool with 3 legs. You're one of those legs in your Feng Shui life. We have one of those legs is our karma, what we were born with. We can't, have any kind of control over who our parents are, that kind of thing. But we can control what we do in our homes and how we arrange our environment. That's feng shui. And the other part of it is our man luck. So we've got heaven luck, which is our karma. We've got our earth luck, which is feng shui, and we have our man luck, and which is our actions. So these are the things that work together. So let's just talk about the two sides of the stool that are most important. That is your feng shui, what's surrounding you, and your actions. So we're going to be talking about kind of putting those two things together to create the kind of year that is going to open up like a beautiful long road. You ever gone on a long Sunday drive? Maybe it's on a Saturday, and you could just see the road, and you have maybe no particular place to go, but you just want to enjoy the ride, and the road just lays out in front of you, and it's so beautiful and open and full of possibility, like that big bag of potting soil or the new calendar at the start of the year. So let's dive on in and let's talk about it. Now, this is going to be a series of podcasts and articles on my website that I'm going to be going over sectors at a time and how they relate to everything from things like family baggage, financial issues, feeling like life is just handing you crumbs. We're going to be talking about that, and also things like addiction. So we're going to be covering quite a bit, and so this is going to be the next couple of weeks. We're going to be going over these areas and where you can look in your home and pair it up with your actions in your life to create personal transformation, to create the kind of life that is exciting and that is fulfilling and that makes you feel like I'm moving forward. This is really what is at the crux of everything, because most of the time when we have issues, they make us feel stuck. And this is all about moving ahead so that you're unstuck, you're in the flow of life, and things are going great. All right, so let's just dive on in. So you know feng shui. It's all about, improving your life, maybe get more money, more happiness, finding love. But what do you do if you have a problem, like a feeling like your life never grows, it never improves, or if you have an addiction? This is what I thought what I could write about and talk about that would have the most impact is to talk about those things, because I believe that you can use feng shui to help you move past trauma. You can manage self-defeating behaviors and see your life's circumstances change. So this is that beginning is we're going to start with just the whole idea of transformation, which is, sometimes that's our greatest wish, right? Is that we just want to see our lives change, to be better, to find a new way of being or becoming. Maybe it's weight, maybe it's addiction, maybe it's a trauma, it's a way of thinking you just can't get out of, or you're just stuck. That part of the bagua, though, that pertains to personal transformation is the north sector. This is the sector that's important no matter what kind of personal transformation you want to achieve. So you want to always be looking at the north sector, no matter what they are. So we're going to talk about this important area. This is where you're going to start. This is where you start your journey. We're going to start in the north corner, because the north corner relates to our life path, but that doesn't always mean our career path. There can be blockages in this corner that affect you in a whole lot of other areas besides your job. And working on this corner of your home really can help you overcome those blockages and barriers that might relate to other portions of your home. But my feeling is if one is good, three is better. And let me explain what I mean by that. It's like there's that power of three. So for instance, I talk a lot about using 3-tie coins. I put them on important projects. I put them on client folders. I have them on important work folders. I even have them on a notebook where we keep all of our investment information. That's because 3 is the number of growth. And 3 is, we're working on our feng shui. We're working on the corner that relates to transformation, and we're working on the corner that relates to whatever our issue is. So we're going to be, that's how I think of things in threes, because we want to build, and compound our efforts, right? Because when you compound your effort, you are just building and building on top of one another, and that it strengthens it. It's sort of like one, the old famous, one thread is strong, two threads is stronger, and three is unbreakable. Now, this is really the north corner is the most helpful area, especially if you're uncertain of what you want to do with your life, or maybe you're undecided about a job or your life's purpose. And this is the area that is so important to be working on, no matter what the issue is. So bear that in mind. But if you're uncertain about what you want to do when you're a grown-up adult, no matter what your age, we want to look at that north corner. Now let's talk about what some of the blockages are. These could be like large earth elements in this corner. It can be maybe you've got a big stone wall in that corner, big brick wall, something like that. This is in the north corner. Or maybe you've got a whole bunch of plants in the north corner. Now, a couple of plants are helpful this year for the 3 killings that's in this corner, but you don't want to have a jungle in there, and you don't want to have a great big tree in that corner. This is going to block money in addition to blocking your self-growth and transformation. This is also true if you have a very large piece of wooden furniture, like a big armoire or something like that, a big buffet that's just really large. Now, moving that piece of furniture can also be helpful in creating more flow in your life and flow in your outlook. Now let's talk about activators. So when you want to create more flow and a smooth and easy transition from one state to another, there's only one shape that you should be looking for: round. Round or circular objects are so helpful for creating that kind of movement. Now just think about coins. What shape are they? They are round. Coins are round. And what's their other name? Why, I believe that's change. So when you want change, and this is the easy way to remember it. When you want change, add round or circular objects. You can also add blue colors, images of water or water-related figures. I really like the image of flowing water versus water like a lake or water like an ocean. I want to think of flowing water like a waterfall or a river, because a waterfall, and especially a river, has boundaries. Oceans don't have boundaries. This is what's important, because you want to have your transformation, but you need boundaries around it. You don't want to just go wild on something. You want it to be a precise way, a measured way of change, because that's a lasting way, right? And so I like the idea of showing a river, a brook, or even a waterfall that moves into a river, something like that. That really shows those boundaries. And that's when water is helpful, is when it's in those boundaries. When water's within boundaries, like it is in a river, we can use it. It's more useful to us. So that's how I want you to be thinking about it. Now let's talk a little bit more about like unresolved issues, because this is one of those areas in life that just trips us up. I mean, there's just no doubt that moving forward in life really depends on our ability to move past certain experiences and situations and not being stuck in them. But so often what can happen is we can become grounded in a problem or the pain associated, and it's a lot like being electrocuted. Now, electrocution happens, for those of you who are unaware, but electrocution happens because it's not this current that runs through you. It's that current that won't stop, because it freezes you to the current. It paralyzes you. And trauma works this way too. It keeps you trapped, and it makes you unable to move because you're tied to the electrical current of emotion or erroneous thinking, and your mind can't break its grip. Now, this is the domain of the northeast sector, the wisdom and education corner of your home, and it rules the mind and the way you think and your decision making. I don't know about you, but I know that most of the time, every mistake that I have ever made has always been an occurrence or a result of a bad decision, right? Isn't that how it works? It's your thinking was broken at the time. This is a vital corner, though, for you, for everyone, because this is also the self-growth corner, and it helps you move ahead and to get past old habits and problems. Now, this sector is helpful for even emotional issues that you can't move on, like traumas, or things like chronic conditions such as pain or Epstein-Barr virus, chronic fatigue syndrome, or fibromyalgia. There's a lot of thought component and feeling component about those syndromes and those illnesses. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this is the answer to Epstein-Barr virus, because I believe that Feng Shui is complementary to treatment modalities, and qualified health care is essential, or therapy, but working in tandem with your actions to get treatment and work with your home can help loosen the grip a little bit faster for you, so that your environment is supporting what you are doing. I can't say enough about how it's so important that we see what we want, that we see, because what you see is what you get. And if what you see is a big blockage, well, then that's what's going to happen, is you're going to get a blockage. So let's talk about what are some mental blockages. The first one, like the North, is oversized plants. Oversized plants, like a big tree or a lot of plants in the northeast corner, or large metal objects, these interfere with your thinking, and they can create blockages that would help you move toward resolution. So we want to look out for anything like an oversized wooden object. So that could be a big armoire, something that's big and wooden, excess metal in that area, or plants. We want to move those away from the sector. And instead, what we want to do is add in some activators. Now, we always want to look for clarity by adding clear things. So think about that, right? It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Get clear by adding clear. So adding clear glass objects like crystal balls or quartz crystals, that white quartz crystal is a wonderful way to add some crystal or better thinking and clear thinking. Quartz crystal points, these are excellent for enhancing thought. I know I keep them on my desk all the time. You also want to look for figures and mentors who represent the thoughtfulness and clear thinking that you need to overcome that sort of mental wheel that your mind is caught in, or the mud where you're stuck in. Objects that relate to clear thinking and that can help you include things like a globe, objects of thought like self-help books, motivational quotes, religious icons and figures, and mentors and teachers like Einstein or Buddha, Tony Robbins or Brene Brown. Whoever speaks to you is really the best figure for you to have. And I can't say enough good things about the constant and repetitive reinforcement of ideas and thoughts that help you and that are positive and that give you another way of thinking. So whether if you're a Brene Brown person or you like Einstein or Buddha, whoever your teacher is, that's who you need to have and have a picture of. Put that person out there. Put them in the northeast corner of your home or living room. Now, of course, if your home, if you've got a bathroom in the northeast corner, well, we don't want to activate that area. But that could also be an obstacle for you. That could be an area that it's because you've got a bathroom there, it's draining. So instead, we're going to add those activators and look for those blockages in the northeast corner of our living room. We're also going to add our activators in the whatever corner it is, the north corner or the northeast corner. We're going to look at adding those activations there instead of the corner if it's got a bathroom or a garage or a laundry room, something like that. That makes sense, right? We're not going to activate bathrooms and kitchens. We're going to activate that corner of our living room. That's always our job one when it comes to Feng Shui. If it's not good to activate the bathroom in that corner, then do that corner of the living room. Now, I think it's so important that you add reminders around you in those corners that remind you and help your mind focus on what you want to think and how you want your life to shift to a new way of thinking and feeling that finally frees you. And this is what is going to help push you past. These are the two sectors that are so important for everyone, no matter what your quant number is, no matter what zodiac sign you are. These are always two very important corners because they are your mind, and they are, I like to think of the north as kind of like your spirit, because it's like water. It's and your spirit is always a sort of a flowing kind of feeling for me when I think of what your spirit is. And we need our spirit to feel free and feel flowing and feel in the flow. And these two areas are going to make that difference for you. All right, so let's talk about 3 tips for today. If you're ready for something new, tip number 1, get in the flow with the north corner. Remove any large wooden items, and remember, we want to make change. We add circular shapes. Tip number 2, is your head stuck in the mud? Look for large wooden objects, metal objects, and large plants, and remove those from this corner. And look in both that corner of your home and that corner of your living room. And for clarity, add crystal balls or crystal points to help your thinking and to help you get clear. And another little side note, check your windows, make sure there's no cracks. We don't want to have, our clarity can be impacted by the type of windows we look out. And I say that looking at some really awful windows. We've been waiting for 9 months for new windows. Anyway, soon I'm going to have clarity on that one of these days. All right, tip number 3, find a mentor. It doesn't matter who it is, someone online, hire a coach, put up a figure of Buddha, Christ, Muhammad, Einstein, Tony Robbins, Brene Brown, Oprah Winfrey. It doesn't matter. Just find someone who you can follow and who has lessons and things that, to say that really speak to you. If you can find a personal coach and hire a personal coach, I'd say do it. By all means, get help, because, here's what I want to say. There's not one, and this is going on right now as I'm talking about this as the Winter Olympics are going on. There is not one athlete there who has not got a coach. Every athlete, every person that walks up on a podium to get their medal has someone who has showed them where their strengths are, showed them where their weaknesses are, and helped them move past them and turn those weaknesses into strength. It's not a failure on your part if you seek out help and you ask for help and get a coach. So look at, if you need, just buy a book, or listen to a podcast. I love, Tony Robbins has got a great podcast. There's lots of great podcasts out there with self-help. So I love that very much. All right, so we're at the end of today, but next week we're going to talk about Feng Shui for personal transformation on issues of pain, family trauma, lack of growth, and living a life on crumbs. All right, there you go. I'll talk to you next week on the next episode of 5-Minute Feng Shui. The year of the tiger is coming, and I can't wait to talk with you about what all is in store. We have a clean sweep, a transformational year of water energy with the water tiger in 2022. That means big change is coming. No longer will we have the stricture and constriction of the metal years that we've just come out of with COVID and the pandemic. We have got a clean sweep of energy coming in next year, and I can't wait to tell you all about it in my 2022 Year of the Tiger Feng Shui Forecast and Success Path. Stay tuned right here for a release date that's coming soon.